Well, welcome everyone. This is really a wonderful event that we're having here today, and it's in celebration of a great faculty member, but also in celebration of one of our great alumni, and really Ron Hochsprung and his partner Linda Bolin, are just two of the most wonderful people you could ever meet, and it was a wonderful day when they decided to endow this chair. Well, we're very fortunate in addition to Professor Sun, we have a number of VIPs in attendance. Of course, we have our alumnus and board chair, Michael Galvin, who graduated from the law school in '78. And we have Peter Kilpatrick, our provost, Ernie Eisenminger, our vice president for advancement, Lionel Nee, Xian-He's dissertation advisor.
Hello.
Lance Fortner, the Dean of the College of Computing, and of course, Ron and his wife, Linda. So really, Ron and Linda, it's really a pleasure to do this and a pleasure to honor you in doing this. And now I'm going to turn it over to Peter, our provost, who's going to take us through the whole process. Now, Peter's a noted academic in his own right. He's got 100 refereed publications, been cited nearly 5,000 times, has 12 patents, and has had 2 startups. But more importantly, that he's one of the best provosts in the country, and he's done a phenomenal job since he's come here. So Peter, take it away.
Thank you, Alan, for those kind remarks. They're maybe a little too kind, but so I have 2 goals initially. One is to say a few words about the importance of endowed chair professorships. We have roughly 30 endowed chairs at Illinois Tech, about 10% of our tenured faculty. And endowed chairs are really important for retaining and recruiting the very, very best faculty. And certainly Xian-He is one of our very best faculty. And we're so proud of him today as we honor him with this endowed chair. My former boss at the University of Notre Dame once said, a university cannot be better than its faculty. And I like to quote that because I think that's what endowed chairs do for us. They help us recruit the very best faculty. They help us retain them, and they help us reward and recognize them. So thank you so much, Ron and Linda, for your vision and your generosity in giving us this endowed chair. I'd like to share a little bit about Ron. You really have had a remarkable career, Ron, and I enjoyed learning about you for this investiture. So Ron and his wife, Linda, endowed the very first chair in computer science at Illinois Tech in 2013. Ron began his 50-year career in computer science and engineering when he took his very first programming course at Illinois Tech in 1962. And this was back when very few universities had computer science. Computing and computer science was in its absolute infancy. And Ron just played a real seminal role in launching computer science here at Illinois Tech. We were very fortunate to have him. One of the things I learned is that Ron helped us implement IIT Tran, which was our answer to Fortran. So Illinois Tech invented its own computing language back in the 60s, and it was aimed at teaching introductory programming. And boy, Ron, I can tell you that's still super important today. So thank you for that innovation. Another really important thing Ron did was he provided support for our Saturday high school program. There was a time in the late 60s when Illinois Tech was literally educating thousands of high school and college students through this program using our remote access system. We called it IIT ROS, IIT ROS. And high school teachers and high school students were learning programming from their schools in the greater Chicago area. So Ron, this endowed chair really helps us continue that legacy of reaching out to the entire Chicagoland community. Ron then went on to work at Fermilab, to NIH, to work at Northwestern University Hospital on an NIH project. And then he attended grad school at Purdue. And he spent some time as an instructor here at Illinois Tech, but then Silicon Valley called. And Ron went off to a 33-year career with Apple. And very impressive what you did at Apple. Ron was the architect of the Mac II, and I was a proud owner of a Mac II back in the day. In fact, I bought one of the very first 512K Macs, and I remember it took about 3 minutes to launch, upload the operating system on a floppy drive. But Ron was the architect of the Mac II, which was a much more powerful computer. And Ron likes to say every day was fun day because he would go into work and he'd have a new toy to play with because he did all the testing for Apple. His last major project was as part of the Thunderbolt development team, and everyone knows how powerful that particular tool has been for computing. Over the course of his career, Ron accumulated more than 20 patents and contributed to several IEEE standards. Since retiring, he's been kept busy participating in open source and Kickstarter projects, especially those involving the Internet of Things. So Ron, Linda, it's so wonderful to have you here, and I'd like to invite you to share with the group.
All right. I'm very glad to be able to endow the chair. I did have a pretty circuitous path to get to where I was. And I really enjoyed when we used to have the high school kids come down on Saturdays. The computer center was in the commons in the basement where the bowling alley used to be. And everything, of course, was punch cards and all that stuff. And over the course of time, I've run into an awful lot of people, big names in computers, that I would mention where I'm from, and they'd say, "Oh, I learned to program there. I went there in high school, and we used to have this teletype." And so I did that, and including a bunch of people at Apple. So I'm very proud of that as having a history. And endowing the chair was a way of giving back and kind of continuing the process of getting people educated with computers. That's all.
That's really beautiful, Ron, and we're so grateful for your generosity. I know in addition to the Endowed Chair, you've also funded scholarships for students, and you've shown throughout your engagement with Illinois Tech how committed you are, not only to the institution, but to our students. And at the end of the day, it's all about the students. So now it's my pleasure to introduce the Dean of our College of Computing, Lance Fortnow. Lance joined Illinois Tech in 2019 as the Dean of our College of Science. But to be honest with you, I recruited him so he could become the founding Dean of our College of Computing. By 2019, we had already begun to think about launching a College of Computing because computing is ubiquitous and it's so important to our world today. Lance joined us from the Georgia Institute of Technology, where he was the chair of the School of Computer Science. And in fact, Lance innovated quite a bit while he was at Georgia Tech in terms of launching, helping to launch one of the very first online master's degrees in computer science. And that Georgia Tech degree has really become quite a famous degree. Prior to joining Georgia Tech, Lance was a professor at Northwestern and the University of Chicago. And Lance is famous for studying one of the most wicked problems in mathematics and very relevant to computing. So Lance, it's great to have you here today. It's great to have you as the Dean of our College of Computing, and I invite you to share some remarks.
Thank you, Peter, and welcome to everyone, both on the panel and all of you joining us. First, just want to thank again Ron and Linda. It's great that you've endowed this position. It really helps us in computing make sure that we have the best talent that we can have teaching our students and doing research for us. I know I have good memories of Apple from the early 80s. I used to write computer games for Apple, the Apple II back in my day. So those are good old times. I think my main role here is to introduce Xian-He. We're obviously very proud of him. I mean, he's already was a distinguished professor with us, and now we're happy to invest in him the Ron Hochsprung Endowed Chair in Computer Science. Xian-He is an expert in high performance computing. He has over 300 published articles and over 5 patents. He was named an IEEE fellow. That's an extremely honored role in 2012 for memory-bounded computing in performance metrics and scalable parallel computing. He was also chair of the computer science department from 2009 to 2014. And Xian-He actually has a mixed emotion attachment to my old job. So one of my professors that I was chair of back at Georgia Tech was Karsten Schwann. Karsten Schwann, one of the great leaders in high performance computing. He passed away, he succumbed to cancer back in 2015. And one of the main conferences in the area, actually I think 2 different conferences, but one of them, the High Performance Parallel and Distributed Computing Conference, named their best paper award after Karsten. And one of the first winners of that award was in fact Xian-He's son and his group. So it was, it's kind of bittersweet because, Karsten was a great person and we missed him, but it's nice to see that legacy continuing, at my new position here in Illinois Tech, and then be able to give this honor to Xian-He. So I'm very, very, very proud of Xian-He, and I think he does well for the memory of Karsten. And so I'm just very proud of him. So I think this is Xian-He is just an outstanding computer scientist. He's a strong leader for our students in our field. He's led our department, the computer science department, as I said, and it's just a great honor to be able to present to him today this investiture. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's now time for you to wear your medallion, Xian-He. And I think you have someone.
My wife's here. My wife's here. Don't.
There we go. Wonderful.
Thank you. I tell you, this is pretty heavy.
So Xian-He, we have a short video of, oh, wonderful, wonderful. We have a short video of people who we've recorded making some well-earned comments about you. So I'll ask our technical people to go ahead and run the video.
Dr. Sang, congratulations on your well-deserved investor at the Ron Hochsprung Endowed Chair in Computer Science. I'm very happy that your hard work has finally been rewarded. I wish you more success and continue to lead our high-performance computing program in the future. Congratulations.
Xian-He, congratulations. It's a very well-deserved honor. Your prodigious research has significantly influenced the evolution of high-performance computing over the last decades and has greatly contributed to the gravitas and reputation of our department. You've also given so much to so many students and mentored many of our faculty members over the years, helping our growth. And as department chair, you improved our rankings and started important outreach efforts, giving us a very strong foundation for our further growth now. And with all this hard work, you've always had an open door and a smile for me. I look forward to working with you for many years to come. Congratulations, Xian-He. Very richly deserved indeed.
First, I would like to congratulate Xian-He on the well-deserved Ron Hochsprung Endowed Chair in Computer Science. He is the first and only endowed chair in the new College of Computing. Xian-He is a well-known world expert in the research field of high-performance computing. He is the leading figure in contributing to our number 13th national ranking of the CS department in high-performance computing. Again, congratulations, Xian-He.
Congratulations, Xian-He, on becoming a Ron Hochsprung Endowed Chair in Computer Science. You've really helped put Illinois tech on the map in high-performance computing. We look forward to working with you and your colleagues, making sure that computer science and the College of Computing creates research and trains the next generation to produce the machines that tackle the world's biggest computational challenges and solve society's toughest problems.
Congratulations, Xian-He. And now
Thank
we
you.
invite you to make some remarks for the group. Thank you.
Can I share the screen?
Sure.
You know, this is why I get the good news. I really, you know, I think this is my lifelong achievement. So I think about that. You know, I joined IT in 1999. You know, that 20 years ago, 22 years ago. So I think, oh, I'm stuck here. So for 22 years, so must be the snow stuck me here. So then in the 22 years, IT really have transformed me into an energetic young man to an exhausted professor. So believe it or not, this picture really is on file from IT. So they represent, you know, how hard we work, you know, represent the conditions of our professors at IT. So we probably couldn't get enough sleep under the leadership. Yeah. So we continue that, you know, of course, we have a good time with the student. You know, like Peter just mentioned, the most valuable thing in the university is the student. You can see the top picture. The top picture is one group of students. We took that picture 15 years ago. This group very talented student. They are really successful. Unfortunately, most of them joined Microsoft, not Apple. Otherwise, maybe after 33 years, they could donate a lot of money to the university. Then we worked with the alumni and alumnus and also some of our friends. This the lower picture is my advisory board at the first advisory board at the Department of Computer Science. Of course, the good time is with the faculties. This is Peter, Cookies, and Charlie, right? They all worked at IT after their 50s. They worked at IT, you know, they worked collectively, they worked at IT more than 150 years. So I really thank to them to let, I think just because of them, to let IT believe I will continue work at IT for another 20 years. So that is why, you know, IT invites me heavily today. So I really thank you for this faculties, and also talk about the leadership. So we had leadership. My first chair is Rango. So I did have a lot of you know, discussion or even argument with him about how to run the department. So the best compliment I get from him is say, you know, Xian-He, why you not just like other Chinese faculties, just listen? Why you have so many opinions, right? This is his comment. Then we get Russell Bass come in 2008. He liked me so much. He appointed me to be the department chair, but only to fire me 5 years later. During my department chair period, he's very supportive. He always say, you know, whatever I say, he will say, do it. You know, Xian-He, do it. I support you. But there's no money. So there's no money to support. So that is, you know, how I lose my most hair at that time. So after doing a couple of things like that. And of course, that is not a complaint. That is not a complaint. So if you stay IIT longer, you will know this is a typical leadership style of IIT leadership. So, during that time, I did several things, but one thing is the celebration of the 40 years anniversary of the computer science department. So on the top, you can see the picture after the whole one-day meeting or one-day the activities, we took that picture, and you can see we honored our one of our best alumni at that time is Miss Hochsprung. So that time we really honored him because his contribution, like Peter in the beginning introduced, he contributed, technologically, he contributed to the innovation of computing and computer science. But that time we didn't know in the next year he will donate $2 million to the department to establish the Endowed chairship. And I really thrilled to learn I become, the Ron Hochsprung Endowed chair. So that is my great honor. But to be honest, I didn't know he would donate the money. I didn't know I will become this Endowed chair. Otherwise, 10 years ago, I probably will give him 2 awards instead of 1. So I come from China. This is my picture when I was a titler with my mom, my two elder sisters, and you can see, my father was not there because we cut him off because he wear a suit like me today, wear a tie with the Western clothes. So we burned most of our memories with this anything with the Western world during the Cultural Revolution. So we lost all this past memory except one. So this picture is my parents' marriage photo, and this photo survived because one of my mother's best college friend, she took this come to America, and she returned to us 40 years later when the door is open, China door is open. When this my mother's best friend also had 3 children. One of the youngest one is Professor Qian, the Nobel Prize winner. So before I always thinking, if my parents come to America, my life will be totally different. But now I do not think that way. I really appreciate, we survived the Cultural Revolution. I really appreciate IIT give me the background, give me the environment for me to grow. Thank you, Ron Hochsprung, thank you, Linda, and thank you, Illinois Tech, IIT. Thank you, everyone, my colleagues, my friend. It's a great honor to be at the Endowed chair. Thank you, everyone.
So Xian-He, thank you. And I do think you might have photoshopped that picture of you in 1999. But it's remarkable that you look that young just 20 years ago, but you look like a teenager. So it's my great pleasure to introduce a special guest speaker today. It's actually Xian-He's dissertation advisor, who is now Xian-He, who is now the provost of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, which he joined in 2019. He is also concurrently an endowed chair professor of computer science and engineering. And prior to this, he was the vice rector for academic affairs and endowed chair in computer and information science at the University of Macau. Like Xian-He, Dr. Ni is an expert in high performance computing. He also does research in internet technologies, mobile computing, wireless networking, big data, and intelligent computing. Professor Ni is the winner of 8 Best Paper Awards. He has quite a number of papers and patents, including 27 US and Chinese patents. So Professor Ni, it's a delight to have you here. That's a beautiful picture of Hong Kong Bay in the background. And I invite you to share some remarks about Xian-He.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is indeed a priceless moment in the life of a teacher to witness one of his students reach the pinnacle of his academic career. I can't tell you how proud it made me feel to see Professor Xian being made the Hochsprung Endowed Chair in Computer Science. I think this is a moment every university teacher lives and dies for. I can't claim any credit for making Professor Xian the outstanding scholar he is today, but I can tell you a thing or two about him that you may not know. Professor Xian and I go back a long way to 1987, when he was a Ph.D. student at Michigan State University. I won't go so far as to say that Professor Xian is the smartest student I've ever supervised, but he's a student no teacher ever forgets. Even in those early days, I knew he would go far because he possesses a quality every great scientist is blessed with. Xian was a PhD student in mathematics, and at the same time, working on his master's degree in computer science. He took a graduate high-performance computer systems course from me. As a master's student, he gave a try to take our PhD qualifying exam and was one of the very few who passed the exam at that time. I was impressed by his academic performance, so I didn't hesitate in agreeing to serve as his PhD advisor. I can still remember, like yesterday, that one of the qualifying questions was related to speed up of a scalable problems running in the parallel, which he did not do well. The original problem was a theoretical speed up to parallel processing known as Amdahl's law, which is easy to understand. I modified the problem in the exam and asked the student to think about the physical constraint, which is memory capacity, to the speed up. At that time, Xian did not have a decent computer systems background, and he had trouble fully understanding it. But the challenge brought out the best in him. Over a year, he tried very hard to enrich his high-performance computer systems knowledge. The result is now a well-known memory-bounded speedup, also known as a Xian-Li law. His PhD dissertation focus, because you can tell his solid math background, was on the parallel numerical algorithms. If I remember correct, his early research in his academic career, I think, was still on the parallel numerical algorithms. After joining Illinois Tech, he entered the core high-performance computer system research, focusing on system architecture and operating systems, particularly on this memory war problem. I'm sorry for this old computer science speak, but that's the language I share with Professor Xian. I didn't pay that close attention to his research after he left Michigan State, but during his Best Paper Award presentation at the International Conference on Parallel Processing held in Spain, I was truly impressed by his work at that time. This is not an easy transition. Professor Xian took the challenge and excelled himself in this area. Now, with the growing importance of big data, his research contributions have received even greater attention and will no doubt continue to grow in importance. As I said earlier, Professor Xian may not be the smart student I've ever supervised, but Professor Xian has something more: his never say die attitude. his sheer capacity for hard work, his eagerness to tackle new challenges, and his willingness to shoulder and share his leadership responsibility to the computer science department. In these areas, he definitely ranks at the top among my 70-some PhD graduates. You can imagine the joy and surprise that after 30-some years, I'm given the honor to share his moment in the sun. This investiture is a milestone in his career. Following him, there will be many more to come. I wish to congratulate Professor Sam, but above all, I wish to congratulate Illinois Tech for having such a world-class scholar on board. Hopefully, next time, when the pandemic passed, I can bring out a bottle of champagne to toast my former student and dear friend. Congratulations, Professor Sam, and thank you for bringing joy to an older teacher's heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ni, for those inspiring remarks. We appreciate it. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our alumnus and our board chairman, Michael Galvin. Mike earned his JD from Illinois Tech Chicago-Kent College of Law. Mike is president of Galvin Enterprises, where he manages a venture capital portfolio of investments in biotech, real estate development, and business services. Mike also understands very well firsthand the importance of creating a culture of philanthropy. And among his many, many gifts to Illinois Tech is a commitment to create the Michael Paul Galvin Chair in Entrepreneurship and Applied Legal Technology here at Illinois Tech. And I'm thrilled that we will have that investiture later this fall when the inaugural chairholder is invested. So please welcome our board chairman, Mike Galvin.
Well, thank you very much, Peter. And it's a real privilege to be here and be able to participate in the investiture of this quality. You know, in our virtual world, we salute you today, Xian-He, on becoming the new Ron Hochsprung Endowed Chair in Computer Science. We look forward to following your many successful endeavors at Illinois Tech and to the opportunity to toast you in person, as your mentor just mentioned, over a glass of champagne when we can next get together. And thank you again, Ron and Linda, for endowing Illinois Tech's first chair in computer science. I too have to add my Mac anecdote as well. I remember in my faith, we have this tradition called Lent, where you give up for 40 days and 40 nights something that, you know, is really, I guess, special to you. Well, I don't know, I kind of found that relatively easy to do. I've led such a privileged life, it was easy to give up stuff. But so I decided to spend Lent trying to learn something new. And the new thing that I learned how to do was to use a desktop computer. And it was one of those Macs that you had been so integrally involved in. So thank you for that, because it really just being on the system was just such a great productivity and enlivening journey that started in my life. And your chair, Ron, celebrates, you know, the best and the brightest faculty at Illinois Tech, as we've been celebrating Sean's amazing, you know, accomplishments throughout his career. So congratulations again to you, Xian-He, and cheers to your continued success. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and have a wonderful evening and a good night.
Congratulations, Xian-He.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you, Ron.
Thanks everybody for participating.
Yeah, congratulations.
We appreciate it.
Congratulations. This has really been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Ron.